Assalamualaikum. We are from EDU550 So my name is Aimi Nabila binti Arba'in and my partner is Nurwahidah binti Othaman. So the topic that we want to present is about language and speech disorder.
So trying to think of a way of describing it. It's kind of like you know, tip of the tongue where you know the word but it just does not come to you.
My speech therapy helps me with my my vocabulary of what it means. Like right now I'm doing a course right now and I'm learning the new vocabulary of.
Well, not a lot has changed really, because it's just a name really. We've known that we've had it for years. It's just I've had it for years, so it's just that we don't know what kind of thing it is. It could be like autism, something like that, when it's actually something like nobody's ever heard of.
So what is language and speech disorder? Language and speech disorder is a person who has difficulty in expressing themselves and unable to understand what other people say. Children with language disorder often say words in wrong order. Also, they have difficulty to translate and connect the word. And then he also facing the confusing tense, for example, the use of past tense instead of using present tense. Children are born to learn language, but children with this disorder may take time to learn this language. So, however, the normal children usually they learn the language easily around 5 years age. In chapter 2, we learn about cognitive and language development. In the process of development, there is 3 elements, which is cognitive, biological, and socio-emotional. All of these factors relate to the biological process and also genetic inheritance, which are, the first one is development of brain, next is the changes in height and weight, next, number 3 is changes in child think, they are psychological, and also the language acquisition. So the study shows that genetic factors are susceptible to have speech and language impairment. So this study are from Berry et al. In 2007. We move to the similarities of language and speech disorder between normal people. They feel like they are all in different worlds. Typically, these children may have trouble with some sound, words, and sentence formation while they are learning and also talking. Sometimes they all say that this ability is not something that you can see it until you do some tasks with normal people. So people will call it invisible disabilities. So the characteristic of language and speech disorder can be described as a person who is just learning the language. Even though he or she is native English speakers, so their characteristics is same like the people who are in the beginning of learning the language. Next, for the development, people who are learning how to speak will probably substitute the word, leave out or distort the normal speech sound, especially in young children. For example, the use of F sound instead of TH sound in speech. For example, I'm thirsty instead of I'm thirsty. This is very unusual for 3 years old to use this sound because that pronunciation would be considered as articulation error in 5 years old. Next, we move to the differences. People with this disorder might find it's different in terms of learning. Some of them might try to find some strategy and method to be able to talk like normal person. For example, like Grant Orechesky, he need to write some script before they can talk to person when people ask them question. And then some of them may realize that they had this disorder when they are children. And also, the next respondent might find they had this disorder when they are adolescent.
Next, we
proceed with the difficulties being speech and language disorder person. There are so many things they need to face. First, difficult to pronounce a word. For example, they need to say read, but the pronunciation become weird. No matter how hard they try to pronounce the correct word, but it still will be the wrong pronunciation. Second, difficult accessing a word. They already have the imagination about the things that they want to say, but it might be difficult to access the word. Third, difficult to make a friend. It is because they hard to make a conversation with the people, and people also doesn't want to listen to them because it's hard to understand the pronunciation. That's why they don't have many friends. In this world, there are so many people can be our support system. For speech and language disorder person, they have 3 people can be their support system. The first one is parents or family. The second one is teachers. And the third one is community. How these 3 people can support them to overcome the problem. As a parents or family, they can communicate with the child every day to help them practice to pronounce the word. And the second one, teacher. Teacher have a responsibility to teach a student. For example, teacher can teach the vocabulary to help the student easily put in the sentence that they can use in daily life. Teacher also can help the student to practice pronounce the word from easy to the hard. And the last one is community. As a community, they should make awareness about speech and language disorder to help build a confidence for the speech and language disorder person. For example, if they have an interview session to get a job, they already have a confidence to speak in front of the people. Other alternative to help themselves, person who have speech and language disorder can do is learn other method to improve themselves. For example, they can read a book, watching a movie, and practicing speaking skill. All of the things they can do itself and less cost but help to improve themselves. By doing that, ourselves also can be support system to improve and lighten the difficulties. Based on the documentary that I watched, I can relate that Brofen brand the theory in classroom under chapter 3, which is social content and socio-emotional development. Children embedded in several environmentals and influence. The second one is connection between school and family. Like I said before, teacher and family is the support system to help speech and language disorder person. And the last one is recognize the importance of community, which is community also have the rules to help these people to confident in front of the other people.
That's all from us. Thank you.